Good morning, everyone. This is Srikanth Rajan, and welcome back to the Stock Market Podcast from MPIinvest.com. Well, the markets finally fell yesterday. It was a decent correction, I would say. In fact, even yesterday morning, we spoke about a correction which was expected in the market, and that's exactly what happened yesterday. We could see Nifty falling all the way till 18,500. Even it broke 18,500 briefly, but then finally it slightly recovered and closed above 18,500. So it's a good sign. In fact, I would say a healthy correction is very important. That has kind of happened as of now. Now, does that mean it's going to fall further? That's something that we need to look out. Now, let me, before going into that, let us discuss about what happened yesterday. So there was huge volatility. Of course, one of the major reasons was there was a MCSI index rejig happening yesterday, and which actually had a lot of funds actually moving from other banks to Kotak. So in fact, we could see the entire day the weakness was brought in by HDFC Twins and Reliance, and from there, by end of the day, we could see the Kotak Bank actually rallying up. So it was a day for Kotak yesterday, I would say. So a lot of movement, movement in the stocks. Prices have actually happened because of the MCSI reject. So of course, a lot of fund flow happening into Kotak, and that's actually a good news for Kotak stockholders. So that's something good. Apart from that, if you look at the market, the FIAs have continued to be net buyers. Yesterday also they have net bought for almost 3,000 crores. Well, when the DIAs have continued to book profits, so they were the reason for the fall yesterday. So DIAs have actually sold for almost 2,000 crores. So net, it was about 1,000 crores of buying. Still, it was majorly the markets were supported by the FIAs yesterday for a change. So apart from that, if you look at the market, some important news that you should actually take in is India is retaining its crown as the fastest growing economy in the world. Yes. So what happens is the GDP data came out yesterday for the Q4, that is January to March of 23, and that is FY23, the last quarter of FY23, and it has come at 6.1%, right? So 6.1%, which is much above analyst expectation, which was expected to be within 5%, and that's an amazing news. So if you look at the entire year of FY23, the overall GDP growth was at 7.2%, which was much better than expectation of about 6.5%. So that way, India is leading in terms of GDP growth. That's something amazing. Just for your understanding, if you look at US and China, they are generally in the range of about 3%, and we are at almost double the growth. Of course, we are a developing nation, so that is a natural thing. But then we have actually outperformed the global markets in spite of the global uncertainties, and that's a positive part of it. Yes. uh, so that is something which we can actually look at. So it's a great news. So will that actually support Nifty at this point of time when it's at the crucial support level? That's something to be watched. So like we have discussed, this 18,500 is a very important support to be watched, because if the market actually breaks that, then it could actually have a bearish effect for some time. But then today being the expiry, however, not expecting much. In fact, if you look at one major botheration that we were talking about is the US debt ceiling. So debt ceiling has finally come to an end. Issue has come to an end because the House has actually finally signed the debt ceiling agreement, which is something great, I would say. And that happened at the nth moment just this morning around Indian time about 7 a.m. So the entire day yesterday, US markets were jittery and closed in the negative. But like we spoke already, if it was not signed, there were big chances of the market tumbling down. But that will not happen now. But 99% we had an expectation that it would be signed. So market also had similar expectation. So markets did not rally up further as well. So if you look at US futures right now, they are actually trading flat. But one interesting thing is SGX Nifty, which was trading negative, is now turned positive after the debt ceiling issue was over. So not only that, even the Asian markets have recovered. So that means, overall the market sentiment in Asia is kind of looking positive because of the debt ceiling issue coming to an end. But then what will happen in Indian market, because today being the expiry, is a big question. So one thing is the FIAs have been net buyers continuously for so many years that so many days that there is always a fear when these guys will actually book profits. But then the way the Indian markets are getting valued, I think it's completely okay. So a major profit booking may not happen, but then at least some correction which has already happened, a healthy correction has happened yesterday. So that means probably we should actually consolidate at this point of time or start recovering back from here. So that would be the sign that I would be looking out for. So on the lower side, 18,500 would be a point I would be looking at. On the higher side, 18,650 to 700 would be a major resistance to be broken on the higher side. So being expiry day, how the market is going to be is something that we all know. It's of course going to be volatile, but then will these levels be broken is the important question. So any movement above 18,650 to 700 range, closing above that can be considered very positive, and any closing below 18,500 can be considered temporarily negative. I again repeat, temporarily negative. So it is not a bad thing at all, right? Yuraj, of course, I got a question. I'll answer at the end of the podcast. So now, apart from that, if you look at next important point, of course, Coal India did see a rise, but then we could see Coal India again getting into profit booking because government of India is actually looking at offloading a few small percentage of share in Coal India. So naturally, that price that they fixed it is around 225, which is almost 6 to 7% lower than the existing price, market price. So that means, of course, there is some negativity there temporarily again in the Coal India. So that action should be watched. So apart from that, if you look at SDFC Life also had a block deal yesterday, which actually turned positive. So we could see SDFC Life closing in the green. And in fact, the surprising thing was IT sector did well. Coforge was up by almost 3%, and TechM was the top gainer in the entire Nifty 50 pack yesterday. So TechM is again a stock which has been kind of testing a patient for a long time in MPA family, and that is kind of getting recovered. That's a great thing to look at. So of course, now that this is the debt ceiling issue is over, now again US markets will start focusing on the interest rate hikes and recession fears. So now there was a jobs data which came in yesterday, which actually showed that the jobs have actually reduced. So that means there are a lot more unemployed people, and that is actually a good sign that the rate hike may not happen. But then yesterday in the US, there were also some Federal Reserve members, monetary policy team, who spoke to the media saying that they are expecting to pause the interest rate hike, but then they don't want to conclude this as the final, because what they say is they will be watching the market for some time, and based on the inflation data and other data that comes in, they will decide whether to go for another rate hike or to pause it for some more time, or even reduce. Reduce may not happen, at least they've not spoken that word, I'm just telling you. So they are, of course, the way things are looking at, it looks like the US interest rates may not hike much more. And if that is the case, then there is already a monetary policy meeting which is aligned next week. So that can kind of be okay. So that means probably we might see a rate pause. So that rate hike pause can be a good sign in the US. So if that happens, there are high chances that the US markets can see a good recovery, and that can actually lead to some betterment in the Indian IT stocks as well. And we already have a good investment in IT stocks, so I'm sure we don't have to do much in MPI family, but then probably we could see some positivity there. But apart from that, if you generally look at the portfolio that we have, it is actually doing really good. And not only that, the recent small case that we entered is also doing really good. So with all that, the way the market is moving, things are looking really positive. But then many times it happens that when everything is looking positive is when the market starts turning negative. So let's not predict the market, but just look at these important levels that we are talking about. And any breach of levels on either side can confirm the next move of Nifty. In fact, the way the market has actually fallen yesterday, it has actually closed that gap up that had happened, the big gap up a few days back. That has been covered. Now it looks like it should take some support at this range or at least consolidate. So apart from that, if you look at the most important thing to be looking at today, being the expiry, the focus would be on banking sector, because the bank Nifty actually hit a new all-time high, and from there it has been a consolidation mode. So bank Nifty would be in focus. How the movement can be? Would it be breaking higher or would it go lower? So that is something which has to be noted, because yesterday again there was a huge sell-off in the SDFC twins that can be attributed to the MCSI reject. So now that is over. What will happen is something that we need to watch out at this point of time. However, the way the things are getting settled, looks like we can actually enter back the market. In fact, we had reduced our positions in the trading positions yesterday and booked a decent profit for this week as well. In spite of hitting two stop losses, I am closing this week personally at 0.5% profit. And of course, some of our members have actually gone to 1% this week. So amazing. We're again closing a good, decent return for whatever trading we've done. So this year has been, this financial year has actually started off good, is what I would say. So that's it for now. We'll discuss more about the market tomorrow morning podcast. Okay, coming back to what Yuvraj asked. Yuvraj has a question. It says, why MRF share price is so high? Well, Yuraj, it is every share price, as it gets traded, the price keeps going up and down. So what is the price basically? The price is nothing but the last traded price, the price at which the last, hands changed for the stock. So this price, of course, can keep changing, going up and down. But then what happens is over a period of time, as the value of each share keeps going up, like, if you see MRF, I think at one point of time had even gone up to 96,000 rupees per share. So if that is the case, then there are high chances that what these companies will do to make it easier to trade. Because now, if when you want to buy a stock, will you actually go and buy a 96,000 rupees stock? So that is something that we may not do. So what companies do is then they do a stock split. Now MRF for some reason or other has not done it yet. So generally it is, if you look at HDFC or Tata Motors, these were all stocks which has to be much higher, but then they have had a stock split. So MRF has just not has had a stock split, and that's exactly why the price is still at that price. But generally I would prefer a stock split to happen, because that would bring more liquidity to the market. So more trading happening. So that is something which is a good thing. But then of course every company has its own decision that can be taken, and there's nobody questioning them for that, right? So that way, even if you look at Page Industries, I think last time I saw it was something around 38,000 rupees per stock. So it's a similar thing. So they've not just gone for a stock split, as simple as that. So I hope that answers your question, Yuraj. So apart from that, if anybody of you have any questions, do put it in the comment box. We'll be answering either live, or if I miss it on the live session, I will answer it on the next podcast for sure. Right? So any questions related to personal finance, on how you can save money, how you can grow your money, you can just put it in the comment section and we will be answering it in the next podcast. That's it for now. This is Srikanth signing off. But before we leave, do remember to press the like button if you love the content that we share, and do share the podcast with your friends and relatives to help them learn and invest together with us. Goodbye. Have a great week ahead. We've got just one more trading day for this week, and today is the first trading day of June. All the best for a new month as well. Goodbye.